Shalom, shalom. This is Kapaya, a.k.a. Pops, at Gym at Chicago with a brief sit-down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York, elder bishops out of Connecticut. I want to send double honors because they do real well. But a brother around the world pushing his truth uncut, unfiltered, give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, the scriptures, correctly breaking down the prophecies and interacting with the people on the planet directly and correctly. So the hearty shalom. For the hopeful elect, I hope this is edifying. And for some of the young Ahchyam, they got dads in the in camps and things of this nature. This is especially a lesson that I saw that made me think of you all. Okay. But in general, it's beneficial to all of us. This young man here, I saw this, and I'm gonna let it play. But like I said, it's about honoring your earthly dad. Okay, your father, this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna let it play. Then, like I said, I'm gonna put some scriptures on it. Okay, so let's let it run.
Kid kept getting in trouble at school, so his coach brought in his father to show him what responsibility really looks like.
Put your position. You're on top of your father. You're a lot heavier than you were at 9 years old, but he still has to push you now because you're not doing your part. So he's doing good now, right, Kev? Yes, sir. How long you think a father can keep doing it with all his responsibilities? Let's put life in this picture. He works, married. You're making his life a lot harder because he's worried about you, because you're acting silly in school, getting suspended. Keep going, Kev. Try to fight through it. This is what he does for you. But he can only do so much. It's crushing your father. The way you can help, live up to your potential. When I say Zeus, your father's going to push up, but you already know he's weak. You're going to have to push up at the same time to help him. Zeus! See how you helping Zeus?
This kid kept getting in trouble at school.
Real simple. Like I said, this is extremely simple message. Y'all saw the analogy. Y'all saw that if you help pull your weight in a situation like this, you help your dad. You help it. You make it easier on him. Okay? And there's points in Sirach where if your dad falls off and you're in your strength, you're supposed to be able to help him. Okay? Because of the way he took care and helped you. Especially a man that's in the spirit and in the brotherhood doing this work. So with that being the case, now like I said, I'm gonna put some scriptures to this. Obviously, I'm gonna start at the beginning. So let me go get this. Obviously, I'm gonna start at the beginning. Let's go to Exodus 20 and 12. Okay. It says Exodus 20 and 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. Okay? Honor. Okay? I think honor is a pretty simple word. You should be able to understand that. Like I said, if I need to go into the etymology of it so you can understand the reverence that should come with it, and this, that, and other, I can as well. But I think you should understand that it's pretty simple. Matter of fact, let me show you how simple it is. Let's go to Exodus 21. Go down to about 15. It's 15 and 17. And he that smiteth, hits his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Oops. Don't sound like that's a light thing, you know. So the way these kids, there's a lot of kids, a lot of young people. I won't say kids because that's a small goal. But there's a lot of young people that if they were to hit their mother or father, the way it's called out, you know, in old times, as it says, and it tells us to desire the old ways, will get put to death for hitting their parents. Okay? 17, and he that calls his father or his who curseth. See that? Curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. So those are sins that can actually cause death to you. Okay? Death. So, you know, that's not paying attention, not being on point with that can actually create a whole quagmire of stuff. Now let me show you something here. Let me go over here. Let me go to Sirach. Because this isn't a long lesson. It doesn't take a lot. Now I'm going to go to Sirach 3. And I'll just pull up 1. And like I said, you can read through this. Sirach 3, I mean, you can just pick out. There's basically this whole chapter goes through things that you're supposed to do and not do when it comes to your dad. What's this? Sirach 3 and 3. I'm starting at 2. Sirach 3 and 2. For Yahweh hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. 3. Whosoever honors his father making atonement for his sins. So you're doing right by your father, your dad, your heaven. I mean your earthly dad. You know, like arms cover multitude of sins. Okay, whoso honors his father making atonement for his sins. Okay, atonement, a kaparia. Okay, you know, that was the thing that I told you. Right, I wanted my name to mean mercy. Or whatever. He asked me, when I was coming up to get my Hebrew name, I said I wanted something that stood on mercy. Okay, and that's how I got the name Kaparia. Okay, atonement, Kaparia. Okay, uh, who's verse 5? Whoso honors his father shall have joy of his own children, and when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. You doing right by your dad, your prayers can get heard. Okay. And so on and so on. And this chapter goes through 11. For the glory of man is from the honor of his father, and mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. Okay. You can read them and see them. I'm just going to scroll through them a little bit. 14, for the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten, and instead of sins it shall be added to build up thee. You build yourself up by helping your earthly father. Okay. Verse 13, and if his understanding fail, have patience with him and despise him not when thou art in full strength. Like I said, so I mean, there's an array of stuff here in Sirach 3 that speaks on this. Okay, let me go to 7. Sirach 7. Sirach 7 and 27 and 28. Sirach 27:28. Honor thy father with thine whole heart, and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. Remember that thou wast begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? How you gonna pay back your father and your mother for the things that they've done for you? Okay, go a little further down. Let me see. We'll go to 23 in this. Okay, we got 23 and 14. Remember thy father and thy mother when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so thou by thy custom become a fool, and wish that thou hast not been born, and curse the day of thy nativity. Remember thy father and mother when thou sittest among great men. Be not forgetful. And I give a perfect example of that. I just thought about that. Matter of fact, let me pull that up. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up something real quick. Okay, I thought about that and what I was saying, and this jumped in my mind. That's why I said, y'all hold on for a second. Let me go get this. Watch this.
Grown man, because he was a drunk. As a grown man, beat my father's ass. As a grown man, because he was a drunk. I went through my whole life him beating up my mother. This is my earliest memory was him hitting my mother in the face as hard as he could. That's my earliest memory. We were scared of him, man. My whole life I was scared of my father. But this is the thing. I became a grown man. And I said, look, I'm going to bring my kids home for Christmas. I said, please, just don't act up. My kids have never seen nothing crazy. Man, I bring them home, hanging out with my wife. We about to go out. My kids are left at my home. Man, I get a call from my aunt. Oh, my God. He hit your mama in the face. He knocked her tooth sideways. He knocked her tooth loose. I said, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I was spent my whole life trying to keep my kids out of this. And all of a sudden, I bring you home one time, and I just ask you, you promise me you're not going to trip? And he just did that to show me he could do whatever he wanted to do. I said, take the kids to the aunt's house. Drove to the house. I had went home. He was still there. I said, man, it's me and you. And I beat his ass for hours. Now, Mike, let me tell you something. What blew me away, though, I thought I would feel some satisfaction from that. I thought I would get some sort of release. And I got nothing. I was left emptier. I was just like him. And I was done. I said, you know what? It's just not the way. I beat.
See that? He thought he was going to get some kind of satisfaction from beating his dad's ass, but what did the Lord do? The Lord showed him, first of all, you're a grown man, so that means that you're in your strength, and he's past his strength. And you was an ex-football player, so you built your body up to be strong like that, and this, that, and other. He was just, like I said, he was past his strength, and you thought that you was going to get satisfaction from being able to beat your father's ass when you didn't. Okay? You didn't get no satisfaction. The Lord allowed you to have no satisfaction from it. You felt emptier. Okay? You say you felt emptier having done that shit. Okay?
Whole life, him beating up my mother.
Watch this.
This is my early.
Well, hold on. Watch
He
this.
knocked her tooth sideways. Like, it was hanging out of her mouth. And I mean, he hit her right in the mouth. Oh, man. And then I found out he did it in front of my kid. I dropped my wife off, drove over the house, and I'm looking at him, and I met with him. I'm like, hey, dude, didn't I tell you? And he was like, oh, I mean, let me tell you something. I don't know how long the beating happened. I meant to beat this all over that.
See that? And he talks about this. You see all the shorts on this? Okay.
Whole life.
Hold on. You see all the shorts on this? You see all the shorts on this?
My father.
You see all the shorts on this? You see all the shorts on this? This man talks about this. Okay? With no shame. With no shame. Look at this man. Look at the size of this man.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
My handsome husband has always...
See the size of this man? See the size of this man. And he took pleasure. No, he didn't get no pleasure. I'm gonna say he beat his father up thinking he was gonna get pleasure, and he got no pleasure from beating his own dad's ass. Lord don't like ugly. And like I said, he should have been put to death for that. Okay? Like I said, you know, whatever it was or whatever it is, like I said, you know, property is property. And obviously his dad wasn't a man of the Lord because, like I said, you know, you join yourself as to on the one flesh, you know, based off in Genesis. You wouldn't try to destroy your own flesh. So it is what it is. But at the same time, like I said, you know, you had the moments where females can get, and you got, especially in nowadays and times, you got females they can get beside themselves. So I can't. Excuse me. Long story short, um, if the dad was a God-fearing man, 9 times out of 10 he wouldn't have been putting his hands on it. But if he did, he would have been totally justified in doing so. And with this scenario being what this is, and this, that, and other, especially nowadays with these women and the flipping mouth that they picked up from Esau's kingdom and what the fuck they got going on with that, it is what it is. But like I said, but there's no way this man should be talking about or going around talking about how he beat on his own biological father. Period. America's backwards. Remember, they also had this guy play a motherfucker that was after white chicks, which were basically transvestites because it was the Wayans brothers. And he didn't even realize that they had him playing that kind of crazy ass role. He gets some buffoonish ass roles. He's done some very buffoonish ass roles and whatnot as an actor. Okay, so, but that's just it. You know, be mindful of your parents. If you're in this truth and your dad is in this truth, be mindful because you definitely don't want to step outside of a man of the Lord and get beside yourself. So with that, I hope that's edifying. I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Again, to the apostles and elders and elder bishops of GMS out of New York and Connecticut, respectfully, a hearty shalom. Hope that's edifying for the hopeful elect. And with that, for the rest of the world, above.